This year I ain't playing, I'm on a mission. I don't see no competition. Waiting my turn and I play my position. Sat in the room, I ain't talk, I just listen.
What's up, everybody? My name is Dave. I'm the owner of JDH Reptiles. And today I wanted to put a video out talking about the changes we are seeing in the hobby and how a lot of that movement, a lot of that change has been affected by the way Morph Market has come into the game and disrupted the game. Now, I want to start by saying I made a video about this 3 weeks ago or so, and I've watched it probably a half dozen times, and I feel like it was coming from a little bit of anger, a little bit of frustration, and even though I hit a lot of really good points, I think it was more a rant than anything. And after watching Shane Kelly's video, Shane Kelly of Small Town, if you don't know who he is, you really need to go check him out. He's a really good guy in the community, a great breeder, and he has a lot of good points on this situation. Chris Eaton, Snakes and the Fat Man, I saw his video. He had Robin Markland from Redline Shipping on. They talked about the shipping industry, how all that works. Whether you use Morph Market, Redline, Reptiles Express, whatever, I highly recommend you go and check that video out as well. But I woke up this morning and I thought, you know, I really need to put my video out. So I watched it again and I just couldn't put it out. I just felt like it was a little too scatterbrained and a little too all over the place. I think a lot of my videos are that way, kind of scatterbrained. I get it. My videos are not polished and whatever. That's okay with me. But I think getting back on track, obviously, here we go. I think this video needed to be made. I need to put out my side as well. And I think a lot more people will too. Once I think a lot of people find that it's okay to do so. Speaking up for what you love, speaking up for who you are, speaking up for the way you run your business should not be a shameful thing at all. And looking at it from Morph Market's perspective as a business, I see what he's doing and I don't fault him trying to make money, because that's what we try and do as a business, okay? Businesses are here to make money. But I do fault him doing it at the expense of the sellers and by tricking the buyers. And I'm going to get into that. So the green check mark, okay? Sorry, I have a little bit of a runny nose this morning. The weather changed and whatnot. Anyways, the green check mark. A lot of talk about the green check mark. If you follow me on social media, Instagram or Facebook, especially on Facebook, and you've been on the Morph Market, was it the Morph Market members group or whatever, there's been a lot of talk about the green check mark, and you will see I have made a lot of posts about the green check mark. I am on the side of the breeders. I'm on the side of the hobbyists, the sellers. I'm not on the side of Morph Market. And it's funny how the division is starting in the hobby over this. It's almost like, it's almost like the old heads versus the new heads, however you want to put that. And I don't even really consider myself an old head, but I guess mentally, you know, I'm a businessman and I look at it differently than a lot of the newer uppercomers maybe do. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think that's inherently wrong. I think it just is an experience level in business in general, not just in the ball python hobby or the GTP hobby or whatever the case may be. So the green check mark is there specifically to make Morph Market money. That is it. And you can tell that by the fact that the only way you can get the green check mark is if you ship through Morph Market shipping. Now, a lot of people will say, well, you're going to buy a label anyways, and it's cheaper. I understand it is cheaper today, but is it worth devaluing your company and the principles you stand on for a green check mark? And when you dig deeper into that green check mark, it gives buyers false hope that they are getting more than what they're getting. So these steps to get the $500, or now some people, if they've been on the platform long enough, they have $1,000 guarantee. The hoops that have to be jumped through for Morph Market to pay out on that are so many. They're massive. You got to follow these steps. You got to follow these steps. You got to go by the seller's terms of service. You got to go through Morph Market's terms of sellers. Basically, my opinion, and I don't know, I bet they will probably pay out one for every maybe 50,000 packages or so. So very minuscule, very, very minuscule. And the problem here is they've set it up to a point that it's like an honor system, but it's based around absolutely zero merit at all. So for buyers, you think if you're buying with a green check mark, not only do you have Morph Market backing up your shipment and your arrival of your animal and whatnot, but there's so many hoops to jump through to collect that if there's an issue that they probably won't get it, number one. Number two, they feel like they're going to get an animal that is sexed properly, which that's not covered. That's genetically proper. So like if you buy a 3, 4, 5 gene animal, then you got coverage for that animal to arrive with those correct genes, but that's not covered. What if the animal comes in and it's got nidovirus, but you can't tell? You bring it in, whether you do quarantine or not. I think quarantining, that's a whole nother video. We won't get into that. If you bring an animal in and it infects your entire collection and you lose everything because you bought from somebody who had a green check mark and the animal came in, unless that animal is actively showing signs, that animal could be in your collection for months. I mean, a year or more before that actually starts to affect everybody else and you start getting animals dying. So that won't be covered. The green check mark is all about Morph Market making money. It has nothing to do with actually pinpointing who's a good seller, who has healthy animals, who sexes their animals properly, who knows genetics, and who's going to give you the best, potential for getting all the genes you're specifically buying. It has nothing, it's not based on merit at all. But what it is it's a facade that the buyers think they're getting and the sellers are paying for. So, and I think it is so funny how people will argue with me and say sellers aren't paying for it. We are paying for it because the only way Morph Market would allow this is if we spend money with them. And again, you can fight the fact that we're buying labels anyways. That doesn't matter. If I buy through Redline, I don't get a green check mark. Doesn't matter I've been on Morph Market for 6 years. Doesn't matter that I have 100% positive rating. Doesn't matter that I have healthy animals. Doesn't matter that they come genetically correct, sexed correctly. None of that matters. It's all about the fact whether I'm giving them my money to get that green check mark. That way I can cover the buyer. And I think it is crazy to me that so many people are okay with this, that they don't see the writing on the wall. This is all about being a monopoly. It is all about Morph Market getting as many people who are on Morph Market to buy from them, leave the respected companies that they've built relationships with, that they've been working with for years, just to get this green check mark, when ultimately, two things. One, it's unnecessary because if the animal arrives DOA, it should be covered. Doesn't matter who I ship through. If it arrives DOA, it should be covered. If the animal never arrives, it should be covered again. Plain and simple. If the animal was coming in and whatever criteria there is that it would fall under getting reimbursement, who I ship through should not matter at all, because the shipping starts with me, with the seller. I'm the one who takes the animal and boxes up the animal. I'm the one who uses the heat pack or the cool pack or packages it properly. I'm the one who drops it off at FedEx, or I call to have FedEx pick it up. I'm the one who sets the animal up for a proper, safe shipment. Unless it gets ran over by a dump truck or lost, the animal should arrive safely. I have shipped almost 950 packages in 6 years, and I have 0 DOAs. And I believe that is due to the fact that I ship my animals safely. I protect them very well from the elements. I use heat packs and cool packs properly. And I give them the best chance of arriving. Even when delayed, they arrive healthy, safe, and sound. That starts with me. That has nothing to do with Redline, has nothing to do with Reptiles Express, has nothing to do with Morph Market. Now, what I will say, and this is a totally different video, and I just want to put it very quickly, is the shipping companies like Redline, Reptile Express, Ship to You, etc. If you have a late package, they have the ability to contact a totally different team at FedEx than we do. Okay? Morph Market has proven that they do not step up to the plate and handle packages as a priority if they're late or they're stuck somewhere. We know this because their customers are reaching out to people like Redline and Ship Your Reptiles, etc., and trying to get them to help them out, even though they didn't purchase a label from them. So it's a flawed system. The whole green check is a flawed system. I think the green check should be merit-based. And I feel like if buyers want protection, there should be an option to where you have to buy your animal through Morph Market and you have to pay through Morph Market. So like if you click on the buy it now option, or you use the pay through Morph Market, so it goes to like my Square account, there should be a little window pops up and says, would you like buyer protection? For $500 coverage, it costs you $5. Whatever it may be. That's how it works on every website in the world. Buyers pay for their own protection. And I guarantee you that'll do 2 things. One, it'll still create revenue for Morph Market because a lot of people who are untrustworthy at this time will click the $5 because it's $5. It's not a big deal. So when the animal arrives, Morph Market made their $5. It didn't take from anybody. But what it'll also do, and this is the biggest thing, is maybe it'll get buyers to form relationships with the sellers. And that way, after a while of buying 1, 2, 3 animals from the same person, they realize, I don't have to click on that button anymore. I don't need to spend that $5 because I know that small town. I know that JDH Reptiles. I know they're going to do me right because I bought multiple animals from them and they always arrive healthy. If I ever have an issue, I trust that they will stand behind their animal. I mean, that's what this whole business, that's what this whole hobby, that's what this is all about, is creating relationships, creating friendships, creating business partners. And we do that between buyers and sellers, breeders and potential breeders, 2 breeders, whatever the case may be. We don't need Morph Market to be the middleman and dictate how that relationship happens or why it happens. We need to be able to dictate that on our own. So when it comes down to it, I feel like a lot of younger breeders, because they don't have the feedback built in, they feel like they're struggling to make sales compared to people like me who have hundreds upon hundreds of feedback. Maybe not on Morph Market, I don't, because I think the feedback thing on Morph Market kind of sucks anyways. It should be more of a, I don't want to say forced thing, but as we make transactions, buyers should be rating the sellers and sellers should be rating the buyers. It does happen, but it doesn't happen on every transaction. But I think the younger breeders feel like they're kind of like at a disadvantage there. But that's the way business is. I mean, as you're younger, you're up and coming. It doesn't matter if you're an automotive business, if you're a reptile breeder, if you're a restaurant. It's going to take time for your new clients to see you. It's going to take time for them to trust you. It's going to take time for them to spend more and more and more money. But as you build those relationships, that's where all that comes from, is your time, your tenure in the business, and what people think about you. But a lot of new breeders like this way of, oh, I'll easily switch to Morph Market shipping. Not only do I save some money today, but I get the green check, which gives me a boost, because they know as well as I know, it doesn't mean anything about their merit, about how long they've been in the business, about how nice their animals are. It's a facade. It is, think of like the blue check mark on X or on Facebook. You know, it's funny how people used to buy into that too. I give you $10 or whatever the hell it was to get this check mark because it made you feel like you were something else than what you really are. That's all this green check mark on Morph Market is it's a little flag that makes the customer think you are something else than what you are. And I'm not saying that there's inherently anybody bad on Morph Market. I can't even say I've ever purchased from anybody that's ever really done me wrong on Morph Market. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but the green check mark does not mitigate that, is what I'm trying to say. So Morph Market is out here trying to take all the business from all the shippers. I guarantee you that if he's not losing money currently, working at a loss on these labels, he might be making a buck or two. I don't know. I don't know. Again, I'm not Morph Market there, but I know his discount is so deep currently that he might be losing money just in an effort to get the masses to come over. Because once he can take away everybody else and he owns you, who are you going to ship from? Now to keep that green check mark, you got to buy their boxes. And then you buy their boxes, you got to buy their heat packs. You got to buy their cool packs. Then he's going to dictate when you can and can't ship. He's going to dictate when you have to buy insurance and when you don't have to buy insurance. I mean, seriously, it's funny. I get people who will see my posts on this topic, and I will get messages and people tell me I'm a conspiracy theorist and I'm trying to scare people. And I don't know where people get that idea. I'm part of the hobby. Morph Market is not part of the hobby. They are there as an entity we sell off of, but they're not ball python breeders. They're not GTP breeders. We are. We have to protect ourselves and each other. And that's all I'm doing, is standing up for all of us and trying to get people to understand that when you play their game, all you're doing is you're shutting out competition, which is healthy. But by doing that, you eventually put yourself in a situation where if Morph Market is the only shipper, you are at their mercy. And they can and will do whatever they want. Whether that's raise the prices on your annual fees. I already pay over $500 to be a member on Morph Market. So I don't know what you guys pay. I'm the second to highest tier. I spend, I think it's $520 or $540 a year. So they could raise that. Matter of fact, just recently he made a post about how it's funny, everybody's complaining, but I haven't raised the prices on Morph Market. Maybe I should do that. I mean, it's idle threats that he makes all the time. He did it the moment he came into the hobby and bought Morph Market, when he started shitting on ball python breeders. He turned it into, what are you talking about? It's just good press. You know, I say bad things, it just makes people look at you. That's bullshit. He's also made it clear that he's all about this being a buyer's market, not a seller's market, which means sink the value of all the animals, make everything available for everybody, because he doesn't care how much you make on an animal. He just cares that you're selling animals and buying his labels, because he doesn't get any money if you buy an animal, but he gets money if you ship the animal. So he doesn't care if you sell $200 animals a year, or if you sell $150, $600 animals a year. He doesn't care. But he knows that if you sell lower dollar animals, you'll sell more of them, then you'll buy more labels. So you need to really just read what he writes. I guarantee this year people will have more sales than ever. He didn't say more high dollar sales, just said more sales. Well, that's because if he can sink the freaking market and you have to sell your animals for next to nothing, you will sell more of them. But it's going to take more of them to create what value you would have created had you held on to your, if we'd have held on to the market and made it so buyers actually have to invest in doing this. It just is what it is. That is the way business works in general. But we have the cards unless we give the deck to Morph Market. And that's the problem, is I'm slowly seeing this transition of people losing a backbone, people that have great history with other shippers turning their back on them because they want to save $10 today. And they're not putting into perspective what this will do for the entire hobby as a whole in 3, 4, 5 year time. I mean, every day I see people complaining about how it's hard to sell animals, how they're selling animals for less than they ever have been. But they don't understand that you're doing it to yourself. By allowing Morph Market to dictate everything you do, you no longer own your business. You allow Morph Market to dictate how your business is run, what you'll sell your animals for, who you're going to ship them through, and everything else. It just is what it is. Really, it is. And I feel sad when I think about how many people don't understand what you're setting yourself up for by playing this game. I have always been a person who believes in customer service. I build relationships with companies I work with. So even before I got into this hobby, I was in the automotive field for 28 years. And when I dealt with parts stores or machine shops or whatever it may be, I built relationships with those companies. And sometimes I would get better deals if I went elsewhere, but I knew that if I had a problem, they would take care of me. This is no different. Redline is here to take care of you. The other shippers are here to take care of you. Morph Market is here to make money. And that's all there is to it. He says a lot of really nice things, but if you take him for what he says and you don't actually put any emphasis on it or make it sound better than what it really is, he's telling you exactly what you need to hear. I will make people make more sales this year. But he didn't guarantee what you're going to sell them for. Okay? And the auctions were the very first step of that. Auctions are there to move animals, not to make money. That's all there is to it. And I've utilized the auctions. I think I've made 5 or 6 auctions. They've all been on animals that I've been willing to sell for $100, $200, and I've gotten $100 or $200 out of them. That's all I would ever put on the auctions is animals, where I'm working a project and I hit some misses. Those are the animals that would go on an auction. But I see people putting what really should be like $1,000 animals on auctions, and they're getting $500, $400. All you're doing is sinking your own project. Your future, something you're building on, you're sinking it by putting it on an auction and allowing it to go for pennies on the dollar. But that's the whole idea here. You are selling more animals if you're using the auctions. I guarantee it. But how many of those animals are actually making you money? This is where we need to understand that there are hobbyists and there are business owners in this hobby in general. A lot of people, I feel, think they're business owners and really they're hobbyists. You need to be able to create revenue to keep doing what you're going to do, or eventually you won't be able to do it. You can't be out of pocket every day to feed, house, do upkeep, to buy new racks, etc. The business needs to at least pay for itself. And if you're not getting anything back on that investment, eventually you will shut the doors. And we see it all the time. There are people that are going in and out of the hobby left and right. It's because they're not making money. There is money to be made, but you have to be able to treat this as a business. Even if you're small scale, there's still a point you have to be a business, and you have to use your brain, and you have to understand that what's good for the goose isn't always good for the gander. In other words, what's good for Morph Market and them making money isn't good for the buyers and the sellers, because he doesn't care about that. As long as you're moving animals, he doesn't care if you sell them for $1 or if you sell them for $1,000. All he cares is you buy your label from them so he can make money on you. And he would rather you sell 500 animals at $1 a piece than 20 animals at $500 a piece, because he makes money off the 500 shipments or the 20 shipments, not off the sale of the animal. So a lot to think there, guys. I really, really, really would love to see more unity in the hobby amongst us buyers, us breeders, us sellers, and less people following under the conglomerate of Morph Market or anything else. You have to understand that this is a business regardless of whatever level you're on. If your business is not making you money to afford what you're doing and you're digging out of pocket every year, eventually you will stop doing this. All right, guys, so that's it. Food for thought. Just food for thought. I would love to see everybody be successful. I don't think that's possible. I think some people just don't understand what it is to run a business. But we are setting ourselves up for our inevitable doom if we continue to play the games we're currently playing. That's all I'm going to say. This is not scare tactics. It's just the way it is. It's just the way businesses in general work. So you can keep buying through Morph Market. You can keep your green check mark. But I would love everybody to just take a moment, treat this as a business, and actually sit down and start doing a running tally of your income and your expenses. And I think you will be very shocked at the end of the year when you find out how much money you're not making as opposed to how much money you're spending. A lot of people will be shocked. If you truly care and you can be honest with yourself to count every penny all year long, in and out, you continue shipping and selling animals for next to nothing, and you will be surprised at the end of the year just how much came out of your own pocket. All right, guys, take care. Social media, hit me up anytime. I'd love to hear your comments. Anybody who runs a podcast, if you want to get some guys together and we could talk about this, I would be completely down for it. I'm sure others would as well. I'm Team Redline. I always will be. They treat me well. They stand behind me. They support me. They support my animals, my shipments. And I'll pay a little extra to keep a great business in business and to keep a great friendship and relationship that I've built with them going. So I don't even charge shipping. I mean, it just is what it is. Anybody can try and devalue that if you want. You could say I roll my shipping into the price or whatever the case may be. But the one thing you can't take away from me is if somebody makes me an offer on an animal and I accept it, I still ship it for free. I have true free shipping. I cover every penny of it. I don't care how much my label is. I stand behind the fact that I have quality animals. People are going to get great animals when they buy from me. They're going to arrive healthy, and I'm going to stand behind the package. I'm going to stand behind the animal for forever. I mean, it just is what it is. But you guys do you. I'm going to do me, and I would love to see us all put a little bit more thought into what we're doing here and try and protect the hobby, the buyers, and the sellers as a whole. You guys take care. We'll see you on the next one.